It's almost 7 a.m. on Sunday, the, what is it? 7th, 27th. You notice where I started counting? It's the only day that seems to change the paradigms of my life every month. So tomorrow, I'm gonna go to A&W, and I'm gonna ask for pancakes, and I'm gonna say, well, I wasn't super happy the last time. I was very specific, cooked them more, and they were still kind of, soft, undercooked, I would say. So, and last night, it's like, is it a joke? Like, I order chocolate turnover, a Kit Kat flavor, and it comes really quick. Oh, I thought it'd be hot. You can burn yourself on things like that, those desserts, right? Apple or whatever. And one lady comes to give it to the other lady at the counter where I was, and oh, well, it's going to be hot. No, it's barely a little bit of warmth left in it. It was just sitting a long time. Didn't even slide it down the thing. It just come and give it to the lady. Like, it's almost like, do you like this customer? No? Okay, here. It's almost like that. So I'm going to talk about that this morning. But anyways, this is for the Ministry of BC Poverty Creation. I asked the garage for 2 more nights because I'm waiting to see if an employer is going to make me an offer. If they don't, I'm just leaving town. I just can't. I did notice, though, that it's almost like I've been forcing the community to, with some of my vlogs, say, if a newcomer's been here 2.5 years and they still say they're a newcomer, there's something wrong with you. So I'm getting a little bit of niceness more, and appreciation for, almost like my activism a little bit, as if, maybe there are changes and some people are noticing it, or just I've been here long enough, I've become a regular face. I'm getting the same kind of a little bit starting privileges as people they've known for a long time. And they might think, oh, we made progress because of Martin. We're treating him not so much as a newcomer, and we haven't forced him to do the 2.5 years. Yeah, they don't get the human standards that I have enough triggers about being here that I don't fucking give a damn at this point. It's freaking horrible that you treat people like this. So anyways, but there has been a change, right? I've noticed a few patterns of different places I go as a regular. Anyways, on Monday I should hear if I get this part-time job where they know, because some other lady in Fruitvale burned me. All these freaking long messages she sends that are hard to read that I read through. And then suddenly at the end she justifies saying she went with somebody else as if it's my fault as I'm on my way there after my job interview, on that day. It's ridiculous. So I'm tired of putting my trust in people. So in the second job interview, because she had just sent me that message that I read, I said, yeah, you're going to have to help with housing. So as your website says, strong together, you're going to have to prove that. But the human resource guy read my entire resume of 5 pages, so that's rare. I was praising him and joking about it with the other boss that I would have. And yeah, so I think there's a chance I might be appreciated. But there's also HSD all around the world. So I mean, they wanted extra time to give me the answer till Monday. So it could be that they're working really hard to try to accommodate my multiple skill sets in an offer, or at least, soon, if not at the beginning. But also, a way to plug in my heaters somewhere, or even somebody on the team, or has a room somewhere for rent. So I'll ask the ministry either way, because I can't go anywhere that's outside of the mountain range for winter clothes, because it's the first time I'm going to spend a real winter in BC. I'm not on the West Coast, whether I get the job or not. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do vlogs of all my open service requests, and there'll be 3 themes, and only 3 of many, but only 3 themes. One of them is, I hope my phone doesn't go because it's cold, one of them is how, I used to have a worker like in Duncan years ago, and then she was starting to say, yeah, I think that things are changing. They were changing to keep the money inside the ministry and not for a growing clientele, right? Because of the way just society works with the monetary monopoly paradigm. And so now it's all people that don't know you, and you don't know them because they don't see their names, and they have no clue. They don't make efforts to read the bad notes of somebody else. So there's like ridiculous answers, and they keep getting paid for this. So I'm going to mention how many service requests are open and how I update now every service request. I'm going to update them tomorrow with my bank balance, which is like probably, I don't know if my insurance went through already for my vehicle, but it'll be probably like around $50 for the next 3.5 weeks. Okay, because after my radiator, which they didn't even pay, well, how much did they pay? Well, they paid about 60% after all. There was a discount. So then my starter goes and a relay had to replace, and that was another $1,000 of this month's allowance. So I'm going to send them that as the attachment and a handwritten letter. And the letter is going to say, you know, like the 3 things that are really bad is, one of them is that on August 30th, I said I have to be in court in Quebec as a plaintiff, not a defendant, for like in like a week later or a week and a half later. It's not easy to leave from the airport here and go somewhere in an efficient way in Canada either, eh? Not easy. And finding a place for your motorhome, you know, it's not, people don't get that when they work for the ministry, because they don't have to consider these things. They probably don't live in a beat up motorhome, right? They don't know what it's like. So that was a service request from August 30th that nobody wants to touch. It's moved around in different categories, but nobody wants to touch it. So the court case is come and gone. Nobody's asked me what happened with that. Okay, and so that's just so incompetent and just should be investigated really right away. The other thing is, when I did an appeal once, went to the reconsideration process and was with some 2 guys with my ex. That helped me lose my ex, by the way. Not that I didn't want to lose my ex, but so these 2 guys were so utterly incompetent. And I've heard people say, yeah, we don't get this appeal process. They work for the ministry, they say this. Said, we think some clients are going to lose and they win, and some are going to win and they lose. Yeah, okay. So that's great. I went through that and I won, but I don't win when I get the letter in the mail. And I read all these long notes of what they say was the case, and it's so incompetently inadequate and inaccurate. It's ridiculous. But one of the things that's weird is my worker on the phone couldn't even show up in person, who is called Richard in Nanaimo, the office that is Labieu, and is I think his boss Mary supposedly was putting pressure on him to close as many self-employment files as possible, while I ran a much appreciated by the community, seasonal mostly more business in the summer driving school in Ladysmith. And then my doctor, cancels my driver's license after I close my driving school and leave town. Well, everything's interconnected. All the incompetency of people thinking life is a monopoly game. Let's lower our workload. Let's punish players who don't play by the rules, whatever it is, So the worker admits he hadn't even opened some of my receipts, that he's complaining I don't hand in receipts, and he admits that. But he also doesn't want to bother with the fact that I was one of the first, and he got a copy of the letter, to be approved for the annualized plan, right, of 12,000 or 10,000 or whatever, self-employment, because I had a self-employment business with him in the ministry with my driving school. And yes, wouldn't even consider that, kept kind of cutting my costs, my allowance every month, which I counted on, because my business was in a really small town, and I'm also going to school, like I can't. So I don't know if he thought it was like some successful franchise driving school that was more into quantity and money than quality, but no, it was into quality, and my community knew that. They were really upset when I closed it. A lot of them turned against me, and that's one of the reasons I closed it, is the ministry maneuvered their way to close my file. That's pretty bad. Like, that should be investigated, where workers that made decisions to act like this, in a country where money means everything, or business means everything, they should lose their job, not get their pension. So this video I'm going to film of all these service requests is going to be the title of He Says, She Says, number 4. And I'll write that on the notes of the 3 things that are the most horrible. And again, workers complain what it's like working there, but they never go on strike. They should have gone on strike with this new software years ago. But the thing is they don't give a damn, so their work's getting worse. They don't give a damn to fight even for themselves, much less for us. And I told them I'd stand by them. As a union representative that was also of their union, when I did some work with the ECE category, and all my supervisors wanted me to be their union representative with this useless This is the most incompetent training of anything I've ever gotten. Although first aid courses are getting close to that. When I went to the BCGEU office for a few days in Nanaimo, incompetent training of incompetent people. It was amazing. So maybe they don't even think their union will support them. What's the use going on strike? The union is as dumb and as much suffering from HSD as, their employer or them as employees do. So it's a passive thing where there's more and more victims, including their loved ones. I'm hearing people, they talk about their loved ones and they still don't care to go on strike to help their loved ones. So you are that ridiculous. I'm going to write these things tomorrow in a letter and say the title of the video, which they'll be able to reference when it's posted later, because I want to post he says, she said number 3 first, which is one of the others. There's more than one recordings in the Courtney office of how ridiculous they were a few years ago over there as well. So this is you, this is me, just frickin' buy my file. But either way, I'm going to ask for winter clothing, whether I get this job or not. And if I get this job, I'm definitely asking for you guys, because I can't deal with Work BC. You know this, I've told you this. You pretend like you don't know what to do with somebody who advocates for themselves. You can't advocate for yourself or your own children or loved ones. So this is really weird. This guy, what kind of disability does he have? He's advocating for himself. Well, I suffer from species alienation, but only because 99.94% of you suffer from HSD, a variety of human domestication syndromes that makes you unable to consistently or efficiently use the higher functions of your brain. So this post is coming, okay, and I'm going to post also all the videos of the service requests that are not moving. Probably done by different people. As many times as I send stuff to the minister of the BC Ministry of Poverty Creation, all he does is, can you kind of make sure that file's being worked on? And more incompetent people show up and they say, why did the minister tell us to work on your file? And now they get so scared when they see how complex it is, because I'm a human being. I'm not an automaton. They don't know what to do. Anyways, there's going to be a few ministers that are going to be mentioned, not just the latest one, that have been head of this ministry for many times, and they feel good about collecting their paychecks and their pension, and yet they've been unpatriotic in the way that they've ruined British Columbian and the culture of this province as culture breakers.